A man of the people, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, and I'm happy. I hope you guys are happy too. And just because it's Donald Duck's birthday, one of our great followers, and because the Carolina Panthers won their final game of the season, smash, hit, tap the like button, please, if you're watching this video. Just it helps the channel grow and do so much, and it's free and effortless. It takes 1 second. Carolina Panthers, I'm in a great mood. I hope you're in a great mood. The Carolina Panthers were just victorious over the New Orleans Saints with an Eddie Pinheiro field goal to win the game 10-7. Congratulations, Carolina Panther fans. Congratulations, Carolina Panther team, for finishing the season strong. Coach Steve Wilks came in as Matt Rule had us at 1-4, took us on a 500 coaching average over the last part of the season, winning 6 games, losing 6 games, and I could not imagine a time that I would feel so happy about a 500 finish to a season. I mean, it feels great. The last time that we had 7 wins would have been in 2018, I believe. So it seems like forever ago. That was under Ron Rivera when he was able to do that. That was his last full season. They were 7-9. Now it's a 17-game season, so we finished the season 7-10. Let me give a few shout-outs over here. B. Evans, waiting to catch a flight with your man. Congrats, Panther fans, on this victory. But yes, win, win, win. Shaquid Bartal says, no more Sam Wilks, Big Ben, or AI CJ Henderson. Hey, I'm going to read all the comments today, but I'm going to stay positive. I know we may want some people gone, but for now, we're just going to talk about the things that we want. Yeah, and the real Sunchild, taking away one of the stats I want to talk about, but the Carolina Panthers completing a sweep of the New Orleans Saints. First time in a while for that. I have it in my notes, the exact year that happens as well. So really, 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 really good. Let's see here. Justin Carpenter, no more Sam, can't believe we won. So I am certainly going to get to all of your comments. I'm also going to right now plug for you to subscribe and hit the bell notification, because tomorrow me and my great co-host Andre Cassidy will host our hour-long show of Ask Me Your Carolina Panthers Questions. A live show where we want to take your questions the entire hour, okay? It's a live show. There's a link that's going to be in the description. We want everybody to just be waiting, and we want to spend the entire hour tomorrow night hearing what you had to say about whether it's a player, whether it's about a coach, direction for the team. We want to hear from you. So I'm going to put that plea in right now for you guys to hit that notification, subscribe, so you can have that reminder and join us tomorrow. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into some of the stats from today's game. That's how I like to break down the recap of today. Also going to touch on some of the things that Steve Wilks said today in that press conference after the victory today down there at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Sorry if that made a lot of noise as I was moving everything. But let's go ahead and break down this game. Now this game, I'm going to tell you, it wasn't pretty. It was actually a sleeper most of the game. But we were able to pull it out, all right? So let's go ahead and just talk about the obvious sleeper part of this game. Let's go ahead and pull up this stat right here. This stat is terrible looking. I told you, so I'm going to talk about just more of the positive things. I'm not going to hammer on the bad things. Tomorrow's show will be that platform. We'll be able to say, I won't limit anything that you guys want to talk about at all tomorrow, I promise. Today, I just want to finish on a good note and just touch on everything. Sam Darnold, 5 completions on 15 attempts, 43 yards total for the game, a 2.9 average, 2 interceptions, not good at all, passer rating of 2.8, and he was sacked 2 times. So that's pretty awful. And some of that had to do with the pressure that Sam Darnold was under, and some of that had to do with the fact that his receivers just were not open a lot during this game. And they can get even bigger than that in terms of how you get to a game where you only have 30, what was that stat? 43 yards passing. And yeah, some of it could do with your wide receivers. All right, we need some help there. But again, we're going to save a lot of that for tomorrow. That is the passing stats from today's game. By far, terrible. All right, let's go on the receiving side, which will not be much better. Terrace Marshall Jr. led, and you know the funny thing about this is I was getting this stat together. I was thinking that Terrace Marshall led with yards. He only had one catch. I forgot that he had another catch because it was so short. But man, it's again tomorrow. Tomorrow we will talk a lot more in detail about the negative things from today. But Terrace Marshall Jr., congrats on a decent game in your home state. 2 receptions, 23 yards. DJ Moore only, it's a problem. This is a problem. And this is where in the pregame I talked about Ben McAdoo and some people not liking him. I'm just wanting to know why, not having a strong opinion either way for Ben McAdoo. But this could very well fall into Ben McAdoo's plate. How is DJ Moore only getting one catch? One catch, 10 yards. Laviska Shenault, one catch. I'm just going to let you guys read that because I said that I'm not going to bash and I'm going to just try to stay on a lot of the positive things. And I'm going to get to your comments. But that was the receiving for today. Let's go to some of the rushing. Chuba Hubbard led 21 carries, 69 yards. Deontay Foreman, 12 carries, 68 yards. Sam Darnold put in a solid performance with his legs, 6 carries, 32 yards. So this team today as a whole, kind of back to, even though it took quite a while, this team was kind of back to what they like to do, is running the ball pretty well. 41 carries, a 4.2 yard average, and 171 yards. Now, what I am going to be curious to hear, I'm sure between now and tomorrow when we have our additional show, what in the world triggered Deontay Foreman to act like he did? Deontay Foreman everybody knows in any sport, the no-no is an actual punch. You can mush, you can push, you can do all kinds of things, but a punch, I knew when that happened that was going to equal an ejection for Deontay Foreman, so stay tuned as we'll get more information about that Deontay Foreman and what would have triggered him in that regard. So we've gone over the passing, the rushing, the receiving, none of those being big highlights for today. Let's go ahead and talk about the defensive side. My man Josh Norman led with total tackles of 8. All right, so Josh Norman, the old man, 35 years old, getting his first start with the Carolina Panthers. At the beginning, I was thinking, oh no, please don't let this be the case for Josh. He slipped and let the first, was accountable on that, well, I shouldn't say accountable, but he was responsible for that first touchdown that the Saints had. Fortunately, that would be the one and only time that they scored this entire game. But that first possession had me concerned for Josh Norman, thinking, wait, they might pick on the guy. He might not have yet, Josh might not yet have dialed in, what my current abilities are in my mind from what I currently think that I can do. But he settled in and had a good game with those 8 tackles and 6. Derek Brown, 7 tackles, 2 quarterback hits, pretty good. Frankie Louvu having another great game today. Now, Frankie was on the verge today of being able to be in a, sole possession of a first spot for having 100 tackles and having like 8+ sacks on the season, because he's also tied with another guy that has plus 100 tackles on the team in franchise history for the Carolina Panthers. Is specifically what I'm talking about. But he did not get any sacks today, but he had a pretty good game with the 6 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, a pass deflection in which Shaq Thompson almost had an interception off that pass deflection from Frankie Louvu. And C.J. Henderson playing a pretty respectable game as well, getting a pass deflection. And then Amari Barno. Usually I don't include this many people on this list, but I had to include the rookie Amari Barno because he got some good playing time today with 3 total tackles. He had a sack. He also had a tackle for a loss. He also had a quarterback hit. So Amari Barno showing some promise as he gets some, a good amount of time and good amount of action today in this game for the Carolina Panthers. Now, we did have a player that was elevated from the practice squad, signed to the 53-man roster. I'm going to be honest, I quickly forget this young man's name, and I want to get it right, but you guys may know already, but I'm going to bring it up as quickly as my computer will allow me to. So the Carolina Panthers had signed Preston Williams, wide receiver, to the active roster from the practice squad. Didn't get any, I don't know if he got any snaps today. You know what, he may have gotten a snap or two, because I do remember watching the game and not being able to very quickly identify the lineup. And he might have gotten a few snaps, a handful of snaps today, but certainly did not get any receptions, but not too many guys did. So those are the stats from today's game. I see some comments coming. I'm going to jump to them very quickly as I want to let everybody enjoy this victory today, and let's have some fun. Now, let me go ahead and recap the game a little bit more and get to my notes here in just a second. So this game today was not the most exciting game to watch for most of the game. Really low scoring, low action game. And you could almost argue, like, well, which team wanted it? Which team didn't want it? Which team wanted it? What was going to happen? It just did not seem, it didn't seem like the Panthers were kind of into it at first. And for the Saints, they started out pretty good, and then they just went, it's like they lost all the gas out the tank really quickly as well. So let me talk about the mishaps in this game and why it was kind of a little bit of but it ended with some great drama. Feeling like this team, both teams really not won it. Here's what I have for you. The Saints helped get the opportunity, but honestly, if I want to be really fair, both teams had a chance to win this game, courtesy of the mishaps of the other team. So New Orleans Saints, mishaps. First half, Saints missed a 44-yard field goal. That continued to give the Carolina Panthers life, even though they were not able to capitalize. I believe they went 3 and out after that point. But it was a mishap for the, well, did I just mess up my notes? Oh my goodness. Hold on, guys. What in the world? Hold on. Think I'm about to be upset here. Goodness gracious. Oh boy. Hold on a second, everybody. Welp, I'm not happy about that. My notes do not appear to be in full as they were a second ago. And if I looked a little irritated, it's because I am, because I'm gonna just try to remember it. So it was in this game, forgive me now on the order, but the Saints missing a field goal, the Carolina Panthers not able to come back and capitalize on that. The Saints going for it on 4th down. I believe they were about, at the Carolina Panthers 23. They could have taken a field goal there, going for the for sure points, so to say. I don't know if the coach, Dennis Allen for the Saints, got a little scared because of Lutz, I believe is how you say his name, missed that first field goal, but they didn't go for the field goal. They elected to go for it on 4th down. They missed that. You go into the second half, you had the Saints fumble the ball, giving the Carolina Panthers another opportunity to steal some momentum and put some points on the board. You then also had another, in the closing final minutes, another field goal miss by the New Orleans Saints, which continued to give the Panthers an opportunity. So that's 2 missed field goals. That's a 4th down within easy field goal position that you did not make. So therefore, there was no points on the board. And then there was a turnover. So those were some of the mishaps for the New Orleans Saints. Hopefully, I didn't miss one. Again, I just lost all my notes. I have no idea where they went, but I know for sure I had typed them. And I'm still honestly baffled, but I'm just going to try to get over the fact that I just lost my notes. And then on the Carolina Panthers side, what do? Well, we didn't score any points in the first half. Sam Darnold throws not 1, but 2 interceptions. So over these past 2 games, Sam Darnold, I believe, 3 or 4 interceptions. But basically over these past 2 games, let me just go ahead and look it up because I can quickly get that information. Let's see. So in the last game, the previous game, he had no interceptions, but he had a fumble, 2 fumbles, and lost 1. So over the past couple of games, a little bit of old Sam has reared his head with the interceptions and with the fumbles, but something that we were able to overcome. And continue to get back to my notes. Now I'm starting to feel like I'm all over the place because so Darnold not giving us the best chance with some of those turnovers. And then toward the end, looking at going off on my theory of which team wanted it, Josh Norman, great position to pick off Andy Dalton and give the Panthers a very good chance to win. Misses, drops the ball. He's a pro. He touches both hands, he drops it. I know on Twitter I said he dropped an easy one. Somebody disagreed, saying that it was not an easy catch that Josh dropped, but I'm still going to disagree and say if you are in the NFL and you get 2 hands on the ball like this, I don't care that you're diving. He wasn't like soup. You got to catch that. You got to catch that, and I'm sure Josh Norman would say that he had to catch that. Fortunately, none of this turned out to be a reason for the Carolina Panthers to lose, as we did win today. The first sweep, we touched on this. I said I had it in my notes. First sweep for the Carolina Panthers of the New Orleans Saints since 2015. Yeah, it's going to be hard to sweep some teams when in previous seasons you've only been winning 5 games. All right, so again, we got that total up to 7. Able to get our first season sweep of the New Orleans Saints since 2015. I was reaching for my water, it was not there. I might run and get it. Again, Steve Wilks, good job, Coach Wilks. Whether or not you want him to be your head coach, I think that you would be hard-pressed to say that Steve Wilks did not come in and do his role as an interim head coach as good as it could be done. You want an interim head coach to come in, prevent the wheels from falling off, keep your team together, and for the most part, you're probably just looking to make it through the season with some kind of respect. But Steve Wilks did above and beyond what I feel like you would expect of an interim head coach. Kept the wheels from falling off, tightened up, changed a few tires, and had this team at a 500 record, finishing 6-6. So my opinion, just strictly on this season and his role as an interim head coach. You look at our last interim head coach, Perry Fewell, it's nowhere near close to what Steve Wilks was able to do today. Nowhere near close. Interim head coaches usually have quite a time. And hey, he took over a team that was 1-4. That's like a 20% winning. 20%. And he turns them into a 50% winning team. Good job, Coach Steve Wilks. Also want to give shout outs on the special teams. Johnny Hecker set a record today. As I talked about in the pregame, he only needed 1 more punt inside the 20. I don't know how many he ended up with, but he set that record early on, beating, I hope I say his name right, Todd Sauerbach, record of, I believe, 32. Don't quote me on that, but beating the previous record to now. Johnny Hekker holds the record for Carolina Panthers franchise for punts inside of the 20. So, one more shout out to Steve Wilks. In one season of only 10 games, you won more games than Matt Rule did in any of his full seasons. And you did it almost in a half season. Good job. All right, so that will conclude. Oh, man, I'm killing my notes here today, guys. Give me 1 second, but I think that concludes all of the highlights that I wanted to talk about. So let's go ahead and turn it over to everybody that has patiently waited for me to get through my notes. Let's do it. Let's see. Let me catch back on up. All right, here we go. Leonard Kowalski, with the success of Pinheiro this season, do we bring him back or Zane Gonzalez? You bring them both back. You certainly bring them both back in the OTAs and training camp when you have the chance to. You bring them both back, and you let them battle it out. I mean, competition brings out the best in everybody. So I don't say automatically just keep Eddie Pinheiro or automatically keep Zane Gonzalez. Both of these guys have done very well. Now, Zane has had 2 bizarre injuries, and you could say, I don't know. So I say for that reason, bring both Zane Gonzalez and Eddie Pinheiro back. You have a ton, I think you get up to 90-ish on the roster up until late, weeks before the regular season starts. Bring them both back. Let them compete for it, and may the best man win. Underground West, I guess you and Donna are having some conversations here. Maybe I miss it, but it says hit the like button. And Donna, I appreciate your support all the time, Donna. Step on that like button, viewers, please. Carolina Panthers for life, Panthers Nation, best fan ever. So that is great to hear. Justin Carpenter here. Again, Sam Darnold's stats today were pretty bad. I want to use one of Andre Cassiday's words, but his vocabulary is a little bit bigger than mine. Saints secondary was playing lights out. It seemed like they were. It really seemed like they were. And even though Sam Darnold threw the 2 interceptions that he threw, I say that we saw a better Sam Darnold than we've seen previously, because he was still running around, trying to make things happen, taking sacks instead of just heaving the ball up. And I'm not saying that he should be our quarterback next year, but I appreciate the improvement in Sam, because he had the 2 interceptions today, and some of it was out of desperation. He's just trying to force the ball, knowing that he's running out of time. And he did that today. He hadn't done it much before today. And, I still just want to give him a little pat on the back. But Justin says the Saints secondary was playing lights out today. A little humor here from Shakid. The story of the game is 57-year-old Michael Jordan scoring an NFL touchdown, a play on the Charlotte Hornets owner, sharing the same name as the player, the guard for the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, Michael Jordan with that touchdown today was something to have fun with and hearing. Hey, Germany Vets on the video again. Appreciate you joining us. Sabix, is that right? Sabix Place. What an exciting season. Earlier we were talking about how it's been such a fast season. And I said, yeah, it has been, because we actually had something to look forward to, saying, what's going to happen next Sunday? Are we going to have a chance? What's going to happen next Sunday? Hey, we still have a chance. What's going to happen? Oh, this is it. We're playing. This is like a playoff game. We're playing the Bucks. And, we lost that game, but you still just had some intrigue to say, well, I'm curious to see how this team finishes it out. And it was a boring game for 3.5 quarters, but then we did pull it out. And here's something to give Steve Wilks credit for. Normally, he talks about this team finishing the game, starting off with a good game, and not just going like tanking, but just tapering off a little bit more than he would like, and not finishing as strong as they played in the very beginning. Today, we got a chance to see a team that played pretty weak for 3.5 quarters turn it on at the very end. and finish strong. That's very important because some days you'll be off for whatever reason. I don't know. You'll be off. But to have the team say, well, we were off for 3.5 quarters. We're on the road. The season's over. Let's check out. We're not even at home. We're on the road. Just, whatever happened. This team didn't do that. This team on the road without a playoff possibility woke up after really 3 3/4 of a game to play the last quarter of a fourth quarter in great fashion and pull out the victory. They even could have gave up after Josh Norman dropped the interception that he could have had. But yeah, it was an exciting season. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Savik says, thank you, Carolina Panthers. Until the next one, keep pounding. Germany Vet says, we have our coach in Steve Wilks, the real Sunchild, ready for next season already. We're going to have a little off season that we got to go through with the coaching selections and how that's followed. So don't tune out just yet. Don't tune out just yet. We still have a lot of reporting to do about off-season changes. Donna B., I'm so glad we had this time together. Yeah, it was good times. Very good times. My Amari Barno Auto RC going up in value. You got to send me a picture of that so I can share it with everybody. Sad to see that the interior line fell apart once Christensen went out and then Corbett subsequently. Also, another Bozeman early snap. Don't want to keep seeing that. Alec, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I had some information on that in which I wanted to go over. Thank you, Alec, for making your comment because usually Andre's job is to do this, so that's probably why I forgot. But injuries from today. Good game today, still considering that we had a late scratch and Brian Burns not making it during this game. We also had Marquise Haynes, who got banged up early in that first quarter. He was able to return, thankfully, but we did have 2 injuries in which they were not able to return. That would have been Brady Christensen with an ankle injury. He was first questionable and then later ruled out. Austin Corbett with a knee injury, and he was ruled out. So got banged up at the wrong time, and yes, that could have contributed to some things. They were indeed able to pull it out, which is a good thing. And yes, Alec, you're a very good point about second week in a row, a snap that seems a little too early. The stat goes to Darnold for a fumble on that, but you kind of scratch your head as to how does that suddenly happen where the quarterback always signals when he wants the ball. So did the quarterback signal and he not realize he signaled? Or did the center anticipate the cadence and the rhythm of what was going on and just got antsy and snapped the ball? We don't know. Hopefully we'll find out some more information about that, but I appreciate your comments there, Alec. 4 more with a keep pounding. Let me also say this. So earlier in the pregame show, I talked about we had a goal, independent media, 100% supported by your funding and contributions, your donations. I challenge you all to say, let's get $25 today. I did get some Cash App donations, and proud to say that we got to $30 in that first show. I always want to invite you guys, say the invitation's open if you feel compelled to do so, if you are able to do so. First thing I always ask for is the like, because that's free. But if you are able to donate to help this channel keep doing what we do, cover this team year-round, because that's what it takes in the NFL. This is pretty much a year-round business. Donate. You can do a super chat, which is, on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can, I always like to say, turn your phone vertically. That way you'll see a little dollar sign. You can donate however much you wish. But then we also have open the platform of Cash App. If you want to do Cash App, that is CVIBE, C-V-I-B-E. If you want to do any donations, that's also in the description. 4 more was a person that donated earlier today, so I appreciate that. Levi says, another losing season. It was, and if you just want to be a purist on stats, win, lose, did we make the playoffs? No, we didn't. We didn't have a winning season. We didn't make the playoffs, but we have improved. And I feel like that gives us something to look forward to. What does Donald say? I'm already seeing dumb Bear fans putting statements like 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and either DJ a burn for that #1 pick. All right, Panther fans, let's go. We need stability in the offense in the future. I like Wilks, but we need Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. So that seems to be a decent amount of people out there that says, Wilks, I like you, I appreciate you, you did solid. You maybe even did better than solid, but we really want some offensive-minded genius for this Carolina Panthers team. So we'll have to see how that works out. We barely scored a touchdown today, and it was luck. Okay. Look on the bright side. We aren't Bears fans. Yeah, let's see. So I appreciate this is you all trying to help me say this name. Todd Sauerbrunn, I believe. Is it Brunn? I thought it was like Bun, but I'm glad you all know who I'm trying to talk about. Just going through a few more of these comments here. To be fair, interim coaches inherit garbage rosters. I don't think Carolina's roster is garbage. Okay. I feel like I could read into that comment, Alec, 2 different ways. So if you don't mind, let me know that you say that you take away a little bit of Wilks' credit because the roster wasn't garbage, or you're still giving him credit. I'm not sure where to take your comment there. And Ali, yes, indeed, I did get your Cash App from earlier today on the first pregame show, and I sincerely appreciate you for doing that. So I'm going to wait for a clarification comment from Alec before I get off of here. And if anybody else has any comments, let's talk about it. But, clap it up for this Carolina Panthers team. They ended the season with the victory, which is something that has not happened many times at all. Giving you all a chance to chat with me before I get off of here. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Just giving you all a second to type some comments before I'm mostly giving Alec a chance to clarify. All right, so here's a question that I want to certainly get to. Levi, JW. Well, he says JW. I'm not sure what the JW means. Assuming this question is for me, are you associated with the Panthers media or do you just cover the Panthers as a fan? So I am a credentialed member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. So it's not a fan site. I'm an official member of the media. I always invite you guys to look over the channel. There's lots of good videos where you see I'm in the locker room, I'm in the press box, I travel to games, I'm at the home games. So yeah, good question. Appreciate the question, but I am an official member of the media. Appreciate you. Oh, you said JW as in just wondering. Okay. So I read it to your question right. So Alec, I see him as being okay, but I feel he gets too much credit. He kind of folds in big games with questionable decisions. Okay. All right. Inviting you guys back tomorrow because I will dive more into these types of discussions tomorrow. I love the conversation. I love the subscribers and viewers on this channel because you guys, you'll disagree with me, but you do it respectfully. So I enjoy the back and forth and debates that we can have on this channel. Do you think Josh Stormer will be back next season? I think it's going to be hard for Josh to be back because of the age, and you just first you go and look at who's available in free agency, who's available in the draft, and the whole numbers games of what things look like. So I don't feel like Josh has a lot of value in being back as a guy that's not going to play a lot and just be on the bench to mentor people. I feel like Josh's value for the team would only be if he's able to play a good amount of snaps. And I say a good amount, I don't mean like the whole game. He doesn't have to start. But if he's going to be getting about 20 snaps per game, 15 snaps per game, then I see, yeah, bring him back. But if we're talking like 5 snaps, maybe no snaps, I feel like there's going to be many better ways to use that roster spot than to bring Josh back. All right, so that looks to be it for the most part. Thank you all tremendously for tuning in with me all season. But remember, we have our show tomorrow that I'm inviting everybody back to. You can come on this show live, via video, using your phone, on the computer, whatever device you prefer, and state your questions, state your event, and we're going to want to hear from you, okay? And then tomorrow, we still have media availability with Coach Wilks as well as players, as we'll have our last interaction with them for the season. And we'll not have any more availability with the team unless there's some breaking news, AKA Coach Wilks either getting that title or the new head coach being named. All right, so that is it for today. Carolina Panthers victorious over the New Orleans Saints 10-7. Carolina Panthers also finishing with best in 5 years, 7 wins, 10 losses. Chris Jenkins reports.